Hey guys, and welcome back to another Division video. Now today, let's talk about a build that I made revolving around this named item, Firm Handshake. Now what this item has is SMG damage, and I figured that if we take advantage of Ninjabike backpack, the secondary stat, which is critical hit damage, is really nice. Also, I have a pretty good one here, 15% weapon damage, status effects, and I rolled in critical hit damage again. So, yep, the build is around this item. So, what does this mean? The build uses an SMG, it deals weapon damage, and we have to put some status effects on enemies. I'm trying to figure out what the developers were thinking when they made this named item. So, yeah, there we go. Now, the nice thing about this build is that not only it deals significant weapon damage because this is a weapon build, we have 60% critical hit chance and 155 critical hit damage. We also have the option of doing skill tier 6 skills. Right now, the skill tier is skill tier 3, but as soon as we get weapon kills with our weapon, we activate the talent Future Perfection, and that will boost our skill tier to up to skill tier 6. Now we could activate the overcharge if we kill another enemy. So there you go. We have like decent weapon damage. We have the option of doing skill tier 6 skills, so very high skill damage. Another nice thing that this build has is that without re-rolling too many stats, we have 2 armor cores. 2 blue cores here, so we're not completely that squishy. If you wish to, you could change one of the red into blue, so that would be 3 reds and 3 blues. Okay, so for the people that just wanted to see the items, these are the items. The specialization is Technician, just for that extra skill tier. For the main weapon, we're using a Tactical Vector with Future Perfect as its talent. For the secondary weapon, we're using a named item, Mechanical Animal. It has like Future Perfect too. And for the handgun, any gun, just as long as it has Future Perfect as its talent. For the mask, we are using Providence Defense. For the chest, it's Walker Harris. For the holster, Brazos the Arcabos. For the backpack, we are using Ninjabike. For the glove, it's Firm Handshake. And lastly, for the knee pads, Grupo Sombra. For the skills, we're using a Seeker Mine that does bleed damage because we are using status effects. And the Sticky Bomb with burn, so we inflict burn status. Okay, so first off, let's take a look at the specialization, Technician. The reason why we went for this specialization is just for one talent or passive. This one right here, Amped. It gives you +1 skill tier. Okay, so let's take a look at the weapons. The weapon that I'm using is an SMG because we're using Firm Handshake and it gives 10% bonus to SMG. The stats that you want here would be critical hit damage, critical hit chance, and SMG damage. The talent, I put it there, just modified it, Future Perfect. Alright. The mods for this gun, mostly critical hit chance. So we have critical hit chance here, critical hit chance, laser pointer. So for the suppressor, it's also critical hit chance 5%. Lastly, we have 20 plus rounds, but -10 reload speed. I think that's good. Alright, for the secondary weapon, I'm using a named assault rifle, Mechanical Animal. Now the stats that you want here would be assault rifle damage, health damage, and I put critical hit chance here just because assault rifles have like lower critical hit chance compared to SMGs. Then lastly, the talent here is, since this is a named item, it rolls in with Future Perfection as well. And for the mods for the Mechanical Animal, just put in a bunch of critical hit chance. 5% here, another 5% here, and lastly 5% for the muzzle. For the magazine, I'm using +10 extra rounds. For the sidearm, I'm using any handgun will do. Just try to slap in Future Perfect as the talent. Alright? Okay, so let's talk about the armor pieces. First up, the mask. I am using a Providence Defense. Since we're using Ninjabike backpack, we have 15% headshot damage and 10% critical hit chance. Alright, so the stats that you want would be weapon damage. I put in status effects here, 10%. Critical hit damage and a critical hit damage mod. Alright. Next, the chest piece. I am using a Walker Harris. It gives us weapon damage and damage to armor since we're wearing Ninjabike. You want weapon damage here. Critical hit damage, status effects, and critical hit damage. Now let's talk about the talent Obliterate. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds, stacks up to 25 times. Now, since we are using an SMG, we are capped at 60% critical hit rate. And our fire rate using Tactical Vector is really high. We could easily get this max stacks. Okay, next up, the holster. Now we are using a named item here. This is Picaro's holster. It's a yellow item, but the brand set is Brazos de Arcabos, which gives us 10% skill haste and 1 skill tier because we're wearing Ninjabike. Now this is very important because this piece right here not only gives us 1 skill tier, it also gives us armor and it gives us weapon damage as the stat here and critical hit chance. The unique thing about this holster is that it gives this weapon damage here at the bottom. Okay, so next up, the backpack. I am using Ninjabike Messenger. We have weapon damage, armor, and +1 skill tier. Very important. And then I have a critical hit damage mod here. Now the talent is Resourceful. Basically what this does, it acts as a second piece for your other gear. Right, so even though that we're wearing only 1 Providence Defense, the second set bonus is activated. That's it. For the gloves, I'm using the Firm Handshake, the item that this build is based on. It gives us 10% SMG damage and 15% critical hit damage. Weapon damage, status effects 15, that is the unique thing here. And then I put in critical hit damage there, 12%. Okay, so for the knee pads, I'm using Grupo Sombra. It gives us critical hit damage and explosive damage. Weapon damage for the main stat, critical hit damage, and put in status effects. For the skills, since we have like explosive damage on our knee pads, I decided that we go for Seeker Mines. Explosive Seeker Mines. This one applies bleed status effects on affected target. The mods that I put here is Skill Haste, and Health. Now for the other skill, still deals explosive damage, but this one causes enemies to burn. The burn version of Sticky Bomb. The mods that I put here is Burn Duration and Skill Haste. Okay, so here we are at the shooting range. Before we start, let's take a quick look at the stats. We have 60% critical hit chance and 155 critical hit damage. Now I'm missing a few points in the SHD level, but this might go up to like maybe a couple more percent. Right now we are skill tier 3. This came from the holster, +1 skill tier. The other one comes from Ninjabike. Lastly, the last one comes from the specialization, which is Technician. Right? That's why we are skill tier 3. This is very important because the talent that we're going to be talking about is Future Perfect. Weapon kills grants you +1 skill tier for 15 seconds and it stacks up to 3 times. So we could get to skill tier 6 by weapon kills. We have to kill enemies by weapon damage, and don't worry, we're gonna be killing enemies with weapon damage because we're pretty much like a weapon build. And after that, if it's already tier 6, weapon kills at skill tier 6 grant overcharge for 15 seconds. Okay, so right now, before I kill the training dummy here, you can see that it is 0. That is the amount of stacks that we have on Future Perfect. Right now it's 0, but I will kill this training dummy here, and you can see it there. That is 1. The bar that is like slowly going down, that is the timer. If we kill another enemy, it goes up to 2, right? Third one is 3, and that after that you would see that pop up in the middle, and you have this icon at the bottom. That means that our next skill that we use is overcharge. Now this icon right here, as soon as it runs out, will be a gray version of it. You could slowly see that it's filling up, but this time it's going to the right side and there's a gray bar, right? That is a very long cooldown of 90 seconds. So that cooldown there is very slow, but it's fine. We could still gain stacks by killing enemies. As you can see, it went back to 1, right? 2, 3. But this time, even if we kill enemies at 3 stacks, we don't get that overcharge icon that pops up in the middle, and also the icon down there doesn't really change. Okay, so just to demonstrate the amount of damage that our skills do at overcharge, I would try to get 3 stacks here. 1, 2, 3. The next skill will activate the overcharge. There you go, you have that Future Perfect icon there. I would throw the Seeker Mine here, and you see the damage there, 2 million initial damage, and the bleed damage is 49,000. Alright, the next one will activate overcharge or Future Perfect. Let's go here. As you can see, it's bleeding or burning for 290,000 damage. Okay, so let's talk about the chest piece talent, Obliterate. Most of you guys are already familiar with. Critical hits increase the total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds, and it stacks up to 25 times. So I'm just gonna shoot this enemy. We see a box there getting filled up. Once it's at max, the damage that we do on the chest is 316,000, and if we shoot at the head, we're dealing 397 on the head. Anyway, that's the build. I think it's a pretty good balanced build. If you want a bit more survivability, you could roll one of the red cores into blue. That would make 3 reds and 3 blues. Pretty balanced. Not only that, you deal significant weapon damage, and you have the option of using your skills as overcharge or skill tier 6. So guys, if you have any suggestions on how to improve the build, or maybe have like a different idea, feel free to post it down in the comments. I plan to do a video series maybe next week. Like every week I would pick a build that was suggested to me. I would probably go back like a month ago and look at the comments. If I have the items that you guys are suggesting to do, I plan to do a video every week. If I get better at editing videos, maybe twice a week on that build. Anyways, that's it. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.